The surrender documents were halfway to Zilax's trembling hand when the door opened. Warlord Korvax stood at the center of the Galactic Tribunal chamber, his battle armor still slick with the blood of 3 species, weapons mounted on display pedestals behind him like trophies. 12 star systems conquered in 3 cycles. The core territories surrounded. Evacuation protocols failing because his fleet blocked every exit. The Council's military advisors had spent the last hour confirming what everyone already knew. They'd lost before the war even started. 47 minutes, Korvax announced, his voice the grind of mountains collapsing. That is how long the Viridian defense fleet lasted. Their commanders begged for mercy. I showed them what mercy looks like. He gestured to a holographic display showing Viridian Prime's capital city as a crater. Sign the documents, acknowledge me as supreme ruler, or I demonstrate my patience by executing every being on this station, one at a time, starting with the younglings. Zilax's hand shook so violently the stylus clattered to the floor. Behind him, council representatives from 40 species sat frozen, their various biologies united in one expression: absolute terror. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. The name Korvax made civilizations choose extinction over facing him. His interrogation methods broke minds so thoroughly that victims begged for death in languages they'd never learned. He'd conquered half the known galaxy in less than a cycle. The door's hydraulic hiss cut through the silence like a blade. Emma Johnson walked in carrying a toolbox, her maintenance coveralls stained with grease, her work boots leaving small red footprints on the pristine floor. She glanced around the chamber, then checked her datapad. Hey, did someone call about the air recycler in Chamber 7? Because I've got it marked as urgent, but this is Chamber 3. So, she looked up, finally noticing the room full of terrified aliens and one very large warlord surrounded by weapons. Oh, is this a bad time? Korvax stared at her. The entire council stared at her. Zilax made a strangled sound that might have been a warning or a prayer. Human, Korvax said slowly, his tactical implants scanning her. You dare interrupt the formal surrender of the Galactic Council? Emma blinked. Surrender? For what? For their lives, Korvax roared, the sound reverberating through the chamber like thunder. For their pitiful civilizations, for the mercy of quick deaths instead of the agony I grant to those who defy me. Okay, but Emma shifted her toolbox to her other hand. Is this about the parking complaint? Because I can explain the shuttle thing. The bay was clearly marked for maintenance vehicles, and technically, the plasma welder counts as... Silence! Korvax activated his wrist-mounted pain inducer, the same device he'd used to torture information from the Viridian High Command. The wave of neural agony could reduce entire crowds to screaming, convulsing masses. He'd once broken a planetary governor with 3 seconds of exposure. Emma's nose wrinkled. Huh. That tickles a bit. You got something stronger, or is this just set to gentle massage mode? The silence that followed was absolute. Korvax's tactical display lit up with impossible readings. His pain inducer was operating at maximum output, enough to kill most species outright, reduce the survivors to mindless husks. The human was standing there looking mildly annoyed about the interruption to her work schedule. Impossible, he growled, cycling through his weapon systems. Sonic disruptor, the human rubbed her ear. Molecular destabilizer, she brushed dust off her coveralls. Gravitational compressor set to crush tank armor. She looked at him expectantly, waiting for him to finish whatever he was doing so she could get back to work. Are you done? Emma asked. Because I've got 6 more service calls today, and honestly, this is eating into my lunch break. Zilax finally found his voice, shrill with panic. Human Emma, you must leave. This is Korvax the Inevitable. He has destroyed the Krell Empire. He tortured the minds of Althara until they chose extinction. His name is written in the death screams of 40 species. That's... Wow, that's really messed up, dude, Emma said, looking at Korvax with something between concern and disappointment. Have you considered therapy? Because this seems like a lot of unresolved anger issues. Korvax's warriors materialized from tactical positions around the chamber, elite soldiers who'd conquered systems, each one a master of 17 forms of combat, each one enhanced with technology that could level cities, 20 warriors against one maintenance worker with a toolbox. Seize her, Korvax commanded. Show her what defiance costs. The warriors moved as one, a perfectly coordinated assault that had overwhelmed planetary defense forces. Emma sighed, set down her toolbox, and started walking toward Korvax. The first warrior's blade shattered against her forearm when she casually blocked. The second warrior's energy gauntlet sparked out when it contacted her shoulder. The third through seventh simply bounced off her like they'd hit a force field, except the station's sensors confirmed no force field was active. "Excuse me, pardon me, coming through," Emma said, weaving through the pileup of increasingly panicked elite soldiers. "Sorry, this'll just take a second." Korvax fired his personal plasma cannon, the weapon that had carved through fortified bunkers, melted battle cruisers, reduced mountain ranges to slag. The bolt hit Emma square in the chest. Her coveralls got a new scorch mark. She looked down at it and frowned. "Oh, come on, I just cleaned this uniform yesterday." "What are you?" Korvax's voice had lost its commanding thunder, replaced by something that sounded disturbingly like fear. "I'm a maintenance worker, level 3 certified, and you're making me late for the compressor repair in the hydroponics bay," Emma replied, still walking forward. "Also, you're hogging all the good docking bays with your fleet, and we've got a schedule. Jerry from Waste Management has been trying to park for 3 hours. Behind them, Zilax's hands flew across his console, accessing the station's database on humans. What he found made his blood crystallize. "Council members," he whispered, his voice carrying in the stunned silence. "Our weapons. According to this data, we've never successfully harmed a human. Not once, not in 3 cycles of cohabitation. We just never thought to check if we could." Emma reached Korvax, who stood a full meter taller than her, covered in armor that had survived orbital bombardment, wielding enough personal firepower to annihilate a city block. She looked up at him with the expression of someone dealing with a particularly stubborn, clogged drain. "So here's the thing," she said conversationally. "You came in here asking, who'll stop us? Like it's some big rhetorical question, but it's not rhetorical. It's got an answer." Korvax activated his personal shield, technology reverse-engineered from a dead god species, powerful enough to withstand antimatter detonations. Emma reached through it like it was warm water and poked him in the chest. "Me, I'll stop you, obviously." "You," Korvax laughed, but it sounded hollow. "You're a maintenance worker. I am Korvax the Inevitable. I have ended civilizations. I have..." Emma caught his wrist as he swung at her with augmented strength capable of punching through starship hulls. She twisted, using a basic self-defense move taught in every community center across Earth, and suddenly, Korvax the Inevitable was face down on the tribunal floor with a human woman's boot on his back. "Yeah, we've got guys like you on Earth," Emma said, not even breathing hard. "Bullies who get a little power and think it makes them gods. Then they're surprised when someone says, no, it's not even an Earth thing, it's just basic bullying behavior. Did you skip childhood development classes or something?" "Kill her!" Korvax screamed to his fleet. "All weapons! Full bombardment! Destroy the station if you must, but kill this human!" The fleet's weapon systems powered up, targeting computers locked onto Emma's biosignature. Every weapon Korvax had used to conquer half the galaxy focused on one maintenance worker. Then the weapons systems started failing, not because of interference, not because of defenses. They failed because when the targeting computers tried to calculate how to kill a human, they couldn't. The physics didn't work. Every simulation ended with error. Target parameters impossible. Recommend recalibrating sensors. "It's not working, my lord," his fleet commander reported, voice tight with panic. "The weapons, they won't fire. The systems keep saying the target doesn't exist according to physical laws. Emma glanced at Zillax. Could someone explain what's happening? Because I'm genuinely confused here. Zillax pulled up holographic displays with shaking hands. Human Emma, what is the gravity on your homeworld? Standard Earth gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared. That would crush most of our species within minutes. Your atmospheric pressure, 101.3 kilopascals at sea level. Lethal to 40% of galactic species. Your background radiation. I mean, normal Earth levels. Why are you... Normal Earth levels would sterilize our colonies. Zillax was standing now, his voice rising to a shout. Your planet has megafauna that hunt in packs, microorganisms that eat flesh, weather patterns that spawn continent-destroying vortexes. Your children play games rougher than our military training, and you thought this was normal. Emma looked genuinely surprised. Wait, seriously? How do you guys survive if a little gravity and some germs are dangerous? We survive by living on habitable worlds. Zillax gestured wildly at his display. Worlds with reasonable conditions, not death planets where everything evolved to kill everything else. Okay, first of all, Earth is lovely this time of year, Emma said, still standing on Korvax's back. Second, if you're all this fragile, why are you out here conquering things? She looked down at the warlord beneath her boot. Especially you. You're supposedly this unstoppable force, but you can't handle regular Earth stuff? Korvax tried to activate his emergency teleporter. It sparked and died, the same one that had saved him from 3 assassination attempts and 2 supernova traps. Your physiology, it disrupts technology. You're walking electromagnetic anomalies. How do you exist? We exist just fine, thanks, Emma replied. We ended our own world wars. Survived our own extinction events. We've got kids who play football. That's a game where you throw yourself at other people for fun. We climb mountains because they're there. We dive to the bottom of oceans for entertainment. We thought everyone could do this stuff. No, Zillax was accessing more files, his expression shifting from terror to something like awe. No species can do this. Humans have been working on this station for 3 cycles. We never tested if our weapons affected you because it never occurred to us that sentient beings could be weapons resistant. You're not just durable. You're apparently immune to every form of conventional warfare in the galactic arsenal. Emma finally stepped off Korvax, who scrambled backward, his armor scarred and dented from a fight he hadn't even had. She picked up her toolbox. Look, I'm not trying to conquer anyone, she said. I'm not even military. I fix air conditioners and patch leaky pipes. I just came in here to do my job, found you threatening to kill everyone, and figured someone should probably do something about that. She paused. Also, you're getting a fine for illegal docking. And excessive noise complaints. Jerry from Waste Management filed 6 reports about your fleet's engine noise. Fine? Korvax stared at her. Yeah, Station Regulations, Section 47, Subsection 12. Unauthorized military occupation of civilian docking facilities. That's a 5,000 credit penalty plus 500 per day. You've been here 3 days, so... She did quick mental math. 6,500 credits. You can pay at the main office or we can set up a payment plan if that's easier. The mighty Korvax, conqueror of 12 systems, destroyer of the Viridian defense fleet, the warlord whose name made species choose extinction, sat on the floor of the galactic tribunal chamber and started laughing. It was the laugh of someone whose entire worldview had shattered. Payment plan, he managed. She's offering me a payment plan. I mean, I don't know your financial situation, Emma said reasonably. No judgment. Korvax stood slowly, his warriors backing away from him, not in respect but in confusion. He'd built an empire on fear, on overwhelming force, on the certainty that nothing could stop him. A maintenance worker had stopped him with a basic self-defense move and parking regulations. My fleet, he said quietly. Retreat, full withdrawal, immediately. My lord? His fleet commander sounded shocked. You heard me. Retreat. Tell the conquered systems they're free. Tell them, he looked at Emma, tell them we made an error in judgment. Cool, Emma said. Could you clear docking bays 7 through 14 by tonight? We've got a freight delivery scheduled. After Korvax and his fleet limped away, the most feared military force in the galaxy defeated by one human with a toolbox, Zilax called an emergency council session. Emma had already left to fix the air recycler, muttering about overtime and how this was cutting into her break. We need new protocols, Zilax announced to the assembled representatives. Immediately. All military assessments are invalidated. Every tactical doctrine, every weapons system, every defense strategy, all of it was based on the assumption that biological entities could be harmed by conventional warfare. What are you proposing? Asked Council Member Lirana, her voice still shaky. I'm proposing we acknowledge reality, Zilax said. Humans are the ultimate deterrent. They don't know it. They think everyone is equally durable. They've been working maintenance, cooking in our cafeterias, teaching in our schools, and we never realized we were living alongside beings that our weapons cannot touch. How do we inform the galaxy? Asked another member. Zilax began drafting the transmission that would change galactic civilization forever. Revised First Contact Protocol. If humans are present during any conflict, violence is not recommended. Actually, it's pointless. Humans are biologically immune to standard galactic warfare. They evolved on a death world and consider it nice weather. They ended their own extinction level conflicts. Their children play games rougher than our military training. They will stop you with parking regulations and self-defense moves from community center classes. This is not a threat. This is a statement of observed fact. In Chamber 7, Emma finally reached the malfunctioning air recycler. She opened the access panel, found the problem, a loose connection, nothing serious, and had it fixed in 10 minutes. All this fuss over a loose wire, she muttered, packing her tools. She checked her datapad for the next call. Hydroponics bay, compressor issue, probably just needs new seals. As she walked through the station corridors, she passed Korvax in a hallway. The warlord pressed himself against the wall, giving her space. She nodded politely. Hey, don't forget about that fine. Main office, level 3. They close at 1700 hours. Yes. Thank you, Korvax said quietly. Emma continued on her way, completely unaware that she'd just saved galactic civilization, redefined military doctrine, and ended a war before it could consume the core territories. She was thinking about whether she had time to grab lunch before the hydroponics call. Behind her, Korvax watched her go, then looked at his hands. Hands that had crushed skulls, torn through armor, destroyed armies. Hands that couldn't harm one human maintenance worker. In the council chamber, Zilax was transmitting the new protocols to every system in the network. Responses started flooding in. Confusion, disbelief, then confirmation after confirmation. Every station, every colony, every ship with human crew members suddenly realizing the same thing. They'd been hosting the galaxy's most powerful defensive asset, and nobody had noticed because humans thought everyone was equally capable. Emma reached the hydroponics bay, saw the compressor issue, and smiled. Just worn seals, like she'd thought. Easy fix. She'd be done in 20 minutes, have time for lunch, maybe catch up on messages. Her datapad buzzed. A message from Jerry in waste management. You hear about that big thing in the tribunal chamber? Some warlord tried to take over. Glad it got sorted out. Emma replied, Yeah, caught the tail end of it. Guy had parking violations. All sorted now. Want to grab lunch? She finished replacing the seals, tested the compressor, running smooth now, and headed to meet Jerry. Just another day at the station. She had no idea that across the galaxy, military commanders were tearing up war plans, diplomats were rewriting treaties, and Korvax the Inevitable was quietly paying a parking fine while his empire crumbled behind him. All because Emma Johnson, maintenance worker level 3, had blood on her boots and a job to do.